From a broom closet to closet racism, Papa John's has been on a journey. One of the big four in the United States, Papa John's is the youngest of the American pizza chain juggernauts after being founded in 1985, a whole 25 years after Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Little Caesars. The thing that caused them to break through the cardboard ceiling? Garlic sauce. Papa John's is who we have to thank for popularizing the practice of dipping pizza into different sauces, an innovation that, by 1993, had this fledgling pizza company trading on the stock market. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street, but instead of full frontal nudity, it's a Midwestern man who would later openly admit to eating 40 pizzas in 30 days in the sweatiest interview of all time. And it is Papa John himself who has been the source of most of the brand's controversy. After expressing some tone-deaf opinions about NFL players, a defensive Papa John used a big no-no word on a conference call with a marketing agency. The brand faced a firestorm of bad press that led to the immediate resignation of John himself. This week on the show, I'll dip my crusty knowledge tips into your garlic cups of curiosity so that you too may become as learned as I am about all things Papa John's. Then, we'll turn our attention to Yelp to see what people are saying about the PJs we went to. Stay tuned. This is the Fine Dining Podcast.
Your table is ready. Take a seat. The flavor of the day is mediocrity. Wouldn't you like to try a bite? Guarantee it'll be the perfect bite. Fine dining. Better than you thought, worse than you hoped. Fine dining. We don't treat mediocre as a joke. Ranking every single place we've been, compared to the perfect 5 out of 10.
I did say something on a conference call and almost got fired. It wasn't a. It was a company. It was a company meeting.
It wasn't the same thing he said.
It wasn't the end. It wasn't the same thing.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Are we? Or should we start?
I'm using
starting.
this. Yeah.
We're started. Yeah. During a company meeting, I promoted one of my comedy shows, and it was live streamed. So I was at PlayStation working at Sony, and they got very upset with me afterwards.
I've got to say, not the same level of infraction.
No, but I was just trying to reach. Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to the Fine Dining Podcast, the quest to compare all restaurants to Chili's. I am your host, Michael Ornelas, and this is the show where I dive deep into the history of our favorite restaurants one week before reviewing them the next. This week, we'll be going over the history of Papa John's, an Indiana-based pizza chain with a complicated relationship with the public. Joining me today is a new friend who's a delight to be around. He has some of the most impressive hair I've ever seen, but more importantly, he's also a hilarious comedian whose multimedia stand-up special, Why Won't You Dance With Me, is available to watch on YouTube. It's Nick Stargu.
Hey there, thanks for having me.
Is that your voice? Is that what you're trying to talk?
I was trying to talk. Sorry. Hi. How's it going?
You had a saxophone for a mouth. An Iwi.
Yeah, I programmed that last night specifically for this podcast. So
it seems very catch-all. There's a lot of places where you can say thanks for having me.
You know, Andre 3000 uses this thing
to communicate.
To communicate.
That's like his Stephen Hawking situation, but instead of Microsoft Speech Sam or whatever,
it's the Iwi.
It's the Iwi.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining me to come to Papa John's. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry is good.
Good
You should be
start.
sorry. Yeah.
Do you have a history with Papa John's? Like, did you grow up on them? Were they ever your preferred chain? You've had them before.
I've had them before, unfortunately. It's always been kind of last minute, like we just need to get something to eat. It's never like, oh man, let's go get some Papa John's.
Yeah. It's not an exciting proposition.
Yeah, I think they had a Papa John's near where I used to work at PlayStation years ago. So we would go there sometimes if we needed to, like in a crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when Papa John's burst on the scene and like the garlic dipping sauce was the thing. This was, for me, my introduction to Papa John's was probably the mid-90s, maybe 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. And I remember being skeptical because I grew up a very picky eater. I was very scared to try new foods. And I remember the garlic sauce being genuinely one of the first things I tried to branch out from my comfort zone. and I liked it well enough.
The thing about wet, I'm scared of wet like food.
I get that.
And I'm a picky eater as well, but I've been branching out.
Yeah.
And I was afraid of soup. That was my thing.
Interesting.
Just it's the wettest of foods, I think. So
I mean, it's the drinkiest of foods.
It's also drinkiest,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sauces, not a fan of gravy. The idea of dipping something that's already half wet because of the sauce into more wet stuff just grosses me out. So I didn't quite understand the dipping sensation.
How do you do with like an au jus? Like something where it's like its own juices are what you're...
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's okay. And especially if I can see where it's coming from. I think not knowing what you put in this wet situation messes me up.
We could honestly talk about this for an hour. I'm not even kidding. Like, I have so many thoughts about why I'm picky about certain things and like what my barriers to overcome, which some of them I have.
It's funny how it makes people upset, though, when you tell them that you don't like something that's kind of a universal thing.
I don't like cheese.
You don't like cheese. I don't like chocolate.
I get so much bad. What the fuck?
I know. I get that. Yeah, I get that too. Like, you don't like soup? Like, what happens when you're sick?
Yeah.
And I there's lots of, there's other things you can do.
Yeah.
But I did start eating ramen.
Okay.
And so that was my
That's
crossover.
very close to soup.
A lot of noodles,
Can I tell you my intro to ramen?
Yeah.
Was going to Tatsu. On Melrose.
Great spot.
And I started with their naked ramen. It doesn't come with broth. And so I'm like, okay, this is kind of like I'm just eating Japanese spaghetti.
Okay.
And it's still what I get there. I now like brothy ramen when I go places, but when I go to Tatsu, their naked ramen is
You like to get naked at Tatsu.
I love to get naked at Tatsu.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our histories with Papa John's. Do you want to get into the history of Papa John's?
Let's hear about it.
All right. We're going to jump into this week's Eat Deets.
Eatery details.
In 1984, John Schnatter, a young man with a passion for pizza and a dream of making it big, sold his prized 1971 Camaro to raise $1,600 to buy some used equipment. He set up shop in the broom closet of his father's bar in Jefferson, Indiana, and began selling pizzas to the bar's customers.
Schnatter. Not a great last name.
Not the best. And like, I was looking it up. I was like, is it Schnatter?
It sounds like, it looks like Schnatter.
And which
is very close to shatter.
I would rather Schnatter than Schnatter.
Yeah.
Schnatter, I don't even know. Hardly know.
Oh boy.
Comedy.
Let's get into the next fact.
Schnatter's pizzas began to get... God, that hurt. That felt bad. Schnatter's pizzas began to gain attention, and demand quickly outpaced his small closet operation. Within a year, the pizzas became so popular that he was able to afford the space next door and opened the first official Papa John's. It was here that he invented the company's signature dipping sauces, at least specifically for pizza. Before then, it was just sauces for breadsticks that were around.
I want to picture this guy experimenting in this new location. He's like trying all sorts of things.
Cracking the code.
He's like, oh man, what are the other things he did before he's like, actually, let's do this dipping sauce.
I picture him like a rapper who at the end of a verse goes one take.
He
got it right the
very first time. Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Well, because it's like equal parts butter, garlic, and salt is what I saw.
Yeah. You just like, I'll just put this in and then this and then this. Yeah. Okay.
Like when the makeup is equal parts, that does to me scream first try.
Right. Yeah. Well, good for him.
It's the last time you'll hear us say that. Within a few years, the small operation exploded into something far larger. By 1986, Papa John's was born as a franchise, and the company began rapidly expanding. By the early 1990s, Papa John's was a nationwide phenomenon. The company grew exponentially, and Schnatter's simple, better ingredients, better pizza slogan became a fixture in American pizza advertising. At one point, the company was opening new locations at an average rate of 2 per day, and by 1993, Papa John's was publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol PZZA.
When I grew up in Connecticut, they didn't have... I don't know that Papa John's infiltrated our region, really. We were like Papa Gino's.
Okay.
We had a Papa Gino's, which was... anyway.
Was it better?
I think it's better. I think it was Better Pizza. Yeah.
A chain still, right?
A chain, yeah, franchise. But
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing Papa John's anywhere in Connecticut. But maybe,
When did you leave Connecticut?
2005.
And you don't think you ever saw
I don't
Papa
think
John's?
maybe I just
Interesting.
didn't notice it.
Yeah.
As we'll see, it doesn't stand out.
It's
very
not
much.
sexy,
Yeah.
It's not like, ooh, who's this?
Right.
Yeah. Now, I don't have the facts fully formed here because I read it, but then moved on and didn't put it in the script. But the Better Pizza, Better Ingredients slogan
Right.
was something that they ended up in a lawsuit with Pizza Hut over because I wish I could remember the specifics, but like a former Pizza Hut co-founder was now a Papa John's franchisee, and they used him in a commercial.
Oh, wow.
And had him saying the Better Pizza, Better Ingredients, Better Pizza slogan, and Pizza Hut like sued them,
Yeah.
saying it was like this.
It's almost like slander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of went through like there was one ruling and then like there were appeals and it got counter ruled and all this.
So by him saying Better Pizza, it's like saying
Then Pizza Hut
sucks.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And eventually it got to a point where neither company could use Better Pizza as a thing that they were touting. And then the Supreme Court declined to hear the case, which then released it back to Papa John's. So they were able to use it again, but they were damaged in the process over the litigation revealed that they were using canned tomato sauce and canned mushrooms, despite claiming to be these like super high quality ingredients.
And what we found out today,
we'll
get into
I'm
that.
going to put that in part 2.
Yeah, okay.
But a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, being publicly traded marked a major milestone in the company's meteoric rise. By 1996, they had over 1,000 stores.
Wow.
It's pretty quick. In
It's a
11
lot of-
years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Papa John's brought the idea of dipping sauces for their pizza crust to the masses, initially launching with a simple garlic butter sauce. The dipping sauce quickly became a signature offering, and other chains followed suit in trying to replicate the success of the dipping sauce innovation. It became one of the company's hallmark features, often marketed alongside their pizza as a must-have combo.
You know, I had a comedy bit once
Mhm.
where the idea was people had food portals here. And then they would make their own food from a portal right here
In their belly?
in their belly and make their own food. And there were dipping sauces for it. Now I'm realizing maybe Papa John's, it was where I got the idea for the dipping sauce. All sorts of flavors.
I'm terrified.
We had a sweet and sour, buffalo, ranch.
I'm horrified at the notion of a stomach portal. It kind of, I just draw a parallel to a colostomy bag, and I know it's not that,
Yeah, it's not that, but pretty close.
if you're dipping
Yeah.
in something coming out of your stomach,
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't like it. In a moment that seemed to epitomize his determination, in 2009, Schnatter bought back the same 1971 Camaro that he had sold all those years ago for his $1,600 in startup cash. This time for $250,000 as he put a bounty out on it. The repurchase of the car symbolized both his financial success and his emotional attachment to the early days of Papa John's. The guy who gave Schnatter his car back had recently purchased it only 5 years prior for $4,000.
Wow. That's a great return.
That's a great
Wow.
ROI.
Wow. I mean, you think that was like his Pee Wee Herman's bike situation
Yeah.
where he just was like, I need to get that.
I gotta
get it back.
It's just that thing.
Yeah.
I feel so happy for the guy.
For the $4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's get him on the podcast. Let's hear what did he do with the money?
16 years ago.
Wow.
Do you still have it? Do
Yeah.
you still have the money? No.
He invested in Papa John's.
Oof.
Oof. Not a good look.
Apparently, if you invested in like 2013, you would have like tripled your money over the next 3 years.
That's pretty good.
And then
lost.
and then in 2018, you would have lost it all.
Wow.
Yeah. On May 22nd, 2010, the first notable Bitcoin retail transaction involving physical goods was an exchange of 10,000 mined BTC for 2 pizzas delivered from a Papa John's on Atlantic Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida. Some cryptocurrency users have celebrated May 22nd as Bitcoin Pizza Day. Using the current value of Bitcoin, this would be the equivalent of paying $870,101,887.07 for 2 Papa John's pizzas.
That hurts so bad. It just, I've seen this guy in interviews and stuff, and I feel so bad for this guy.
I would rather be the guy who simply forgot his hard drive's password for the 7,000 Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh.
Rather than like knowing that I spent 10,000 Bitcoin for just 2 Papa John's pizza and like Papa John's pizza.
Right. Yeah. At least make it good.
Yeah.
Great pizza.
Yeah.
Or good, at least
you
good.
can afford it.
Yeah.
Well, you could have.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Okay. Now for the controversy. Papa John's reached a dramatic low in 2018 when Papa John himself, John Schnatter, was involved in a racism scandal. During a conference call, Schnatter was complaining to his marketing firm about the backlash he was receiving for expressing his opinions about NFL players taking a knee during the national anthem. He then said, Colonel Sanders called blacks the N-word, and Sanders never faced public backlash, except he actually said the thing.
Right.
Yeah. While he was no longer the CEO of the company at that point, Papa John resigned from his position as chairman of the board of directors after the story broke.
I've listened to the tape of them talking on the board after he said that. So they're just like, we got just let this guy talk for an hour and he will just out himself in public. You know?
And it feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let the guy talk. And
because also he's like, Colonel Sanders called blacks the N-word. I'm like, even if you don't get to the second part of that.
Right. Did you see, there's a video of him giving a tour of his mansion.
No.
And it's the creepiest thing. And the camera walks in, opens the door, and the first thing you see is this giant, he calls it a clock, but it's like 2 eagles that
copulating.
Every 15 minutes it moves just a little bit. You can't even really tell the time.
Oh.
You just have to know where it was before it.
Is it like a statue?
It's like a statue, yeah. It's the creepiest thing to walk into.
People who are too rich.
Yeah. It's like, what do I spend my money on?
It's like, help the world, you know? You don't need these eagles to tell you the time.
No.
You don't. No one, you're not home enough.
Right.
For this.
A billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the aftermath, several major partnerships, including sponsorships with the NFL and other brands, were severed, and Schnatter's public image took a severe hit. Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
deserved. Very deserved.
Through lawsuits and stock purchases, Schnatter tried to scheme his way into having access to the company's internal books and records and promised a day of reckoning for the new leadership in which the truth would come out. The lawsuits were eventually settled after Papa John's was sold to the investment firm that turned Olive Garden's fortunes around.
I didn't know Olive Garden needed a fortune to be... What happened to Olive Garden?
I mean, just business was dipping for a lot of chains throughout like the mid 2010s.
Okay.
And that's, I think, when a big shift started to happen where they were selling to different hedge funds and investment firms and stuff like that.
After the 2008 crash, I'm sure it affected a lot.
I'm sure it was kind of like a slow bleeding out process from there. And, you know, just people not having the same disposable income. They weren't going out to these places, nor was the quality of these places justifying it.
Right.
Yeah, so Papa John's was bought by
the Olive Garden.
I think it's called Starboard Value is the name of the company.
Okay.
But they ended up buying Darden, which owns Olive Garden and a couple other chains.
And then he wasn't a part of it anymore at that point.
No.
Yeah.
But like, I saw some like weird quote that I was like, I feel like I'm reading this out of context of like one of the people who was working with Papa John's and in charge and opposing John Schnatter in the lawsuit was like, hopefully this will help us bring him back on board.
Oh.
But like, he never did.
Yeah.
And like quotes I found later from Schnatter did sound like they were still at odds. So I don't know if it was an out of context quote. I'm not going to actually state that. I just saw something that like felt like it was that. And I was like, I don't understand this.
I know I watched an interview with him. He was on a podcast and he was trying different pizzas.
Yeah.
This was just in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And he was comparing pizzas. And I think it was Domino's was number one. And he thought Papa John's was second best. So he thought they changed the recipe. He's like, oh, the sauce tastes different.
Was it a blind test?
No.
Oh, okay.
He just was tasting
He was
it.
just being on it?
Yeah.
Being objective? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it. In 2019, Schnatter made headlines once again with his infamous 40 pizzas in 30 days claim. You heard of this?
I didn't hear of this, no.
In a sweaty, unhinged interview with Fox News, he declared that he had eaten 40 Papa John's pizzas in 30 days in an attempt to demonstrate his commitment to quality control and to prove that Papa John's had lost its way under the new leadership.
Now, did they say what size the pizzas were? Because if they were like this big,
I think he just straight up
all
ordered
personal pizzas. Yeah.
I think he just ordered a bunch of pizza.
Wow,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
There's no way he ate that many full pizzas, or he probably shared them with like his family or
it's like
something.
Super Size Me situation, right?
Worse,
It's
so
worse.
much worse.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Wow.
The bizarre interview went viral, and while it was an attempt to regain some of the spotlight, it only contributed to Schnader's image as a controversial figure in the business world. The statement became a meme, and many began to question whether Papa John's could ever fully recover from his eccentric behavior. I still think about him.
You do, yeah.
Like,
yeah. To this day.
The link is there. He is Papa John.
He is Papa John. Yeah.
Whether or not he's still with the company, I'm going to think about it.
You can take the apostrophe away, but you can't take the John out of Papa.
Yeah.
John.
It's like Subway and Jared.
Right.
He hasn't been a part of Subway in almost 10 years.
He has such a lasting impression on all of us who watched him on TV. And yeah.
It's just that will always be an association. And it is a black mark on Subway, much how Papa John's just unhingedness is just like, okay, that does reflect on Papa John's.
Yeah.
So also in 2019, Shaquille O'Neal became a member of the board of directors as well as a brand spokesperson. The Shaq-a-roni pizza was then introduced, which was just an extra large pizza with extra pepperoni and extra cheese.
So that's a great pizza right there. I mean, if you're going to make your own pizza,
I don't know. I would want a unique assortment of toppings, not just, we made it bigger.
What do you think Shaq's should have been?
I don't think Papa John's has like a bacon as one of their offerings. My go-to pizza from Domino's is a pepperoni bacon with garlic.
Oh, wow.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's how I get down.
That's what the
Michael-oni. Yeah. So with Shaq's, I don't know.
And he also owns, he's also on the board.
Yes.
Yeah.
And lastly, in early 2025, Papa John's found the worst way to respond to a series of truly deranged social media posts from fans saying they want to bathe in the brand's garlic sauce. They announced they would be releasing a garlic bath bomb.
Whoa.
One of the tweets they quoted speculated that it would cost $475 to fill a tub with Papa John's garlic sauce. They forgot to calculate that it would also cost them their soul. But the bath bomb is supposedly only going to be given directly to superfans and not actually sold for retail.
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm so upset.
Like, who is a super fan of Papa John's? Like, you got to wonder about somebody like that, right?
I mean, the people who are tweeting, I want to bathe in their garlic
I guess
sauce.
So. Yeah. Something going on there.
They're still around and they are doing better these days.
Yeah.
That's true. They are on an incline right now.
Right.
So, but the garlic bomb itself is off-white like garlic, comes in a green cardboard box that just says special garlic bath bomb.
I wonder if there's any warnings on it. Like, can you eat the thing? Do you think they have to say, don't eat this?
I imagine there are some warnings. And that'll do it for this week's Eat Deets. Nick, I hope you were listening to all of that and got some good advice on how to become a major player in the world of chain dining, because the next few minutes are all about you and your vision for a themed casual restaurant dining experience of your very own.
Should I start?
Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
We got to do a theme song.
Oh, okay.
What style should I do for a song? In the style of blank.
How about Prince?
Only want to see the restaurant that's in your dreams.
I love that.
Okay. All right. Now you continue with line 2.
Do I have to do it as Prince?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I should have changed
it. You dug your own grave.
Can I do it as Les Claypool?
Yes, the Prince Les Claypool collab.
The collab that never happened.
Go for it. We'll put in some bass licks here.
All right.
All right. Let me.
Yeah, you start and then I'll come in.
I only want to hear about the restaurant of your dreams.
There you go. Restaurant of your dreams coming up right on after. Nick's not very good at improvising. There you go.
Papa John's can suck it not to get extreme. This is the restaurant of your dreams.
Man, I should have prepped for this.
I'm just going to say sorry to James, my guy who composes under that.
I love the idea of it, though.
Oh, God. All right. Well, Nick, the floor is yours. We get to hear all about a restaurant that you've designed. It must be practical. It must be delicious. It must be memorable.
Does it
3,
have...
2, 1,
Okay.
Go.
I do have visual aids. This is actually has been a dream of mine for a long time.
Okay.
I've always wanted to have a restaurant where you could get food from different ages, like different time periods.
Oh.
So normally you go somewhere and it's like, it's thematically like, this is an Italian spa. This is like New California, New American or whatever.
But you want to go try like real classic Italian.
Real classic. Yeah. From, let's say like
the Roman Empire.
Roman Empire. Yeah.
Which famously was in which century?
All the good centuries.
Yeah.
So it's called Time. And as you can see by the visual here, it's like there's a portal with 2 arms that
you love portals and food.
I do love portals, yeah. And then the hands are also like it's like a clock. Right?
Yeah. Horrifying.
Yeah. So you go to the restaurant and there's these holes in the wall, these portals in the wall.
Oh, it's a hole in the wall spot.
It's a hole in the wall spot.
There you go.
And you give them your order, you throw it into the portal. And then this is an image of the what the arms look like.
Okay.
And then
they just look like obsidian mannequin arms.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are entities from
Is that what they're called?
They're entities. And these actually, so the food actually comes from that time period. So they have a chef in each time period.
I have a follow-up question. Yeah. How do the chefs in that time deal psychologically with being visited by a being from the future?
Right.
Telling them, you are a chef for us now. How voluntary is it?
I mean, I think it's like a religious kind of thing for them. They tie it into
it's like
religion.
A talking bush.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so you could get food from, I'm thinking BC. You want brontosaurus meat, like barbecue, like I have a brontosaurus rib kind of situation.
Honestly, though,
that
I'd have it. I'd try it.
Good. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Would be a little big.
It might be a little.
Wonder
big.
what the market price is.
You want to go back to the 80s and get that Mr. T cereal? There's all these cereals in the 80s that I feel like they probably couldn't make anymore because it was probably so bad for you that they put like stuff in it. And...
But here you're skirting regulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then go back to Marie Antoinette era, all those good pastries. Did you see the movie?
She original girl dinner.
Yeah, right. I love the idea of like these ingredients were pre-Monsanto. Is that how you say it, Monsanto? Like, just
pesticides.
Yeah, just like the ingredients were fresher,
Yeah.
And so you got these entities. And,
that looks so horrifying. That literally looks like.
Well, you don't actually see them. They put these gloves on, and then that's why their arms look that way.
I'm gonna post this picture on my Instagram. It's gonna be on the YouTube version. But I am looking at something that if I saw in real life, I would cry, curl up into a ball.
Yeah.
But
in this situation, you would pay for it.
You'd pay money to experience it. Yes.
There's a couple different breeds here, and that's the idea for the restaurant. And now, practical. I'm not sure it's practical.
What are the startup costs you require?
Oh, it costs a lot of money. It's a lot. Papa John's money. Yeah.
I like to think that to open a restaurant like this, you've gone beyond currency.
You're not only opening a restaurant, you're opening a portal.
Yes.
You're opening portals. So that's my dream. That's my dream restaurant. I also wanted to open up a Street Fighter restaurant where they fight like as they deliver your food. They're like yeah.
Honestly,
and then it ends like when the round's over.
If you can destroy this car in 40 seconds, you get a free dessert or whatever.
Yeah, I love that.
A free soft serve.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for going over all of that with me, Nick. I now have a better insight into what you dream about. One more time, Les Claypool to my prince. I only want to see the restaurant that's in your dreams.
Here we go.
All right, let's bring things back to reality and see what other people think of the Papa John's that we went to in this week's Yelp from Strangers.
We need a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4 or 5. So get a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A little Yelp. Give us those complaints while you literally whine and die. Yelp!
This is Yelp from Strangers, our segment where we turn to Yelp and read out our favorite 1, 2,
3,
4,
and
5-star Yelp reviews of the very restaurant that we dined. Nick, do you mind if I start us off with the first one?
Bad boy.
2-star review.
This is a 2-star review from Treya C. of Lake Wales, Florida, written November 6th, 2011. I love Papa John's, and it is my preferred pizza. This is how we're starting a 2-star review. Has been for years. This place is certainly not the best I have experienced, though. It is just okay, and it seems like several pizzas I got from here were a little overcooked. I also barfed a lot one night after eating pizza from here, but I'm pretty sure it was the garlic sauce that did it. Beware of that stuff. Maybe it went bad, but I won't eat that anymore.
You got to wonder if they were just eating it without even dipping. They were just drinking the thing.
Shots of
the sauce.
Oh, that sounds so...
That sounds like it's a user error.
That's the type of person who's also looking to bathe in the garlic sauce if you're doing shots of it. I consider this place decent, which would get 3 stars from me normally, but since you is made me puke, you only get 2.
Poor Papa John's. Making people barf.
I also love puke and barf for the terms that he... Not throw up, not vomit.
Yeah.
He goes for like the more colorful terms.
Very colorful.
Yeah.
Very 80s.
3-star review.
All right. So this is a 3-star review. Okay. This is from Elvin J. of Glendale, California.
That's my neighbor town.
I have a love-hate relationship with this pizza joint. So maybe he's from the East Coast originally. We call it a pizza joint.
Yeah.
Love the crust and gooey cheese, but I feel skimped on the toppings every time. Last time I ordered a pizza with bacon, jalapeno, onions, tomatoes, and chicken, I counted 1 jalapeno and a quarter of pizza and chicken. Though,
what does that mean? A quarter of pizza?
I think they meant like of the
they
full
only put it
circle,
in one quadrant.
Yeah,
interesting.
They just kind of they did overload it with onions. It's good to maybe they were out of chicken.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But even then.
But then they should have spread it around.
Yeah, don't concentrate it.
Yeah. It's good to know that Papa John's is there to cock block me and deter any women getting 10 yards near me because of the onions.
Because of the onions.
Yeah. The time before that, you're learning a lot about this guy. The time before that, my pizza was just as I expected it, mediocre with extra cheese. That's in order. Can I get my mediocre with extra cheese? No matter. This place is still way better than Pizza Hut, other food joints, not and. I will still order and
which, according to the staff, not the case.
Not the case.
Not the case.
I will still order and play Russian roulette on whether my pizza will come out right.
You could play regular roulette.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and kill yourself every time you're getting Papa John's.
Also, there's something about people who write Yelp reviews. It takes a special person to write a Yelp review, good or bad.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, the restaurant personally or something. But
right.
Yeah. Well,
that's
at least
Elvin.
He wasn't barfing.
Did you enjoy those 2 Yelp reviews? You can get 3 more over at my Patreon. That's patreon.com/Fine Dining Podcast. And for just $5 a month, you can get the extended Yelp from Strangers segment, as well as an exclusive restaurant that I cover each and every month, dropping on the last day of the month. In January, I covered Dan's Hamburgers, which is literally my favorite burger in the world. It's this little diner in Austin, Texas, and you get to hear me gush about it. February, I covered Jersey Mike's, a sandwich place that I didn't have a lot of respect for going in, and they have made me respect them. I actually think Jersey Mike's is very good now. And for March, I covered Blaze Pizza, which, if you've never had, is one of those assembly line style pizza places with a wood-fired oven in back, and it's actually very good. So you can find all of that at my Patreon and more. Hope to see you there. Thank you. All right, that's part 1. Tune in next week as we review Papa John's. I was absolutely dreading this, as it's my least favorite chain pizza place on the market, but I am going to absolutely be rating it objectively. So we'll have to see if it exceeded my very low expectations. That's next week. We'll go into everything that was good about it, not good about it, and all of the other things that were just there. Until then, Nick, where can people find more of you online?
Just check me out on Instagram at DJ Real Smells.
So you go by DJ Real?
Yeah, it's I've been DJ Real for a long time, but it's so hard to find me online because there's a lot of DJ Reals. And I think I was maybe the first one, but over the years, there's a lot of DJ Reals. So I've just been going by Nick Stargu recently.
Well, let me tell you, the moment I saw your Instagram handle for the first time, I thought you went by DJ Real Smells.
Yeah, that's confusing.
And I was like, that's so fun. Like, if you consider to pivot into just being DJ Real Smells, as opposed to those fake smells.
It started off, I was DJ Real Stupid. That was the first iteration. And then I just became DJ Real. And, but yeah, check it out. DJRealSmells.com also. Check that out.
DJRealSmells.com. Yeah. And you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, all at Fine Dining Podcast, or in the case of Blue Sky, at finediningpodcast.bsky.social. I also have a Discord and I have a Patreon. So if you want exclusive episodes every single month, go check those out. I drop them on the last day of the month, and then you also get the full Yelp from Strangers segment. You get to hear all 5 reviews as opposed to just 2 for free. And then, on the Discord, we're just having some fun conversations. We're sharing pictures of food, fun restaurant stories, fun Yelp reviews we come across. It's a blast. Come join us if you want to talk about food, about the podcast, about the world, about whatever. We'd love to have you. In the meantime, we're just going to be sitting here waiting on our table. We will be back next week with our review. Have a fine day.
Waiting on our table, the step is done and we had some fun. Now we're waiting on our table, waiting on our table. Join us next time, we're stuck in line. Waiting on our table, waiting on our table. We're so hungry, tummy's grumbling. Waiting on our table, waiting on our table. We gotta continue our search for mediocrity.
Have a fine day.